Welcome to the College Basketball Net Profit Show, Tuesday, March 7th. Ian Cameron, Conor MAAC, ready to break down this Tuesday college basketball card. As you can see, conference tournament action, it's well underway. We've got day games, night games. It's going to be, get ready, get used to this. It's going to be this way from here until Selection Sunday. We got games all afternoon, games all night. But that's a good thing. Got to love this time of year, no question about it. All right, let's get into the games. The rest of the games that are coming up tonight, we'll get into all of them, and we'll start in the ACC tournament. First round action. It's the lone remaining game in the ACC tournament tonight. Notre Dame, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, 6.5-point home favorite, 6.5-point favorites. 145.5 the total. One of these days in these neutral tournaments, I'll stop saying home favorites. And Virginia Tech, 6.5-point favorites. So I think Virginia Tech, could be actually a little bit of a dark horse maybe in this tournament. I think they're a team that can go on a bit of a run. I think they'll beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame had that, win one for the Gipper for Bray a couple games ago, and then they just fell flat the last two games. I think they're ready for their season, honestly, to come to an end. I think Virginia Tech wins the game. It's just a question of do you want to lay 6.5. I lean to the over as well. What do you think here, CMAC? Fighting Irish Hokies.
Yeah, the game went way over earlier, this year. I think it was like 93-87. Yeah, after the win one at home, I thought they get destroyed. A little double up I did with Clemson. They got killed. I don't want to lay points though with Vatek. I just don't want to do it. I think they win. And they should cover. They've just got me too much this year. So I'm going to be off. And I'm off the total too. Sometimes Notre Dame, you think it could go over, and Vatek doesn't have the best defense, but every once in a while they score 60 or 65, and that could keep it from going over. So I'm off.
All right, we go to the WAC now, Western Athletic Conference here. The WAC first round, Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas. Where the hell is that, Conor, in Las Vegas? Michelob Ultra Arena. Is that on the Strip or is that outside?
No, that's right. That's the Dollar Center. Right?
That's Henderson. That's Henderson, Nevada.
That's in Henderson.
Center.
That's where I am.
That's where the there's just another tournament.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about that. Yeah. I don't know.
Big West is out there. Big West Conference.
Big West is there because I went there last year. I'm going to go this year to a couple of the games in the next couple of days. I don't know. I gotta look it up.
If I were living in Las Vegas, they're dirt cheap, the tickets. I'd go to see some of the tournament games. Absolutely.
I'll be there.
The Pac-12 is going to be there again as usual. So yeah, Las Vegas is like the hub of these conference tournaments this week. Tons of
MGM.
Yep, that's right. Mountain West is going to be there at Thomas and Mack. So there's more tournaments than you can shake a stick at in Las Vegas, Nevada this week, no doubt about it, including the WAC at the Michelob Ultra Arena. We've got a game. This one's starting in like 20 minutes, so beware of this. UT Arlington and Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon 9-point favorites, 133. This Arlington defense has fallen apart. I've noticed the last couple of games. They gave up high 70s and the 80s. So the way I'm going about this is I think Grand Canyon is probably going to potentially win by margin, but rather than lay the points, I went the team total here with Grand Canyon. I played Grand Canyon over 70.5 with their team total. I think, look, they gave up 78 and 80 in their last two games, the UT Arlington squad. You look at Grand Canyon, they've been scoring a pretty decent clip lately. I think asking this team to get to 71 cashes a ticket. I think they can do it. So I like Grand Canyon team total in this game. What do you think, Conor?
That's not a bad way to look at it. I think it could still get over. For this first meeting, I remember 80-48. Grand Canyon just beat them up. I can't back Arlington as a dog. I can't, in a setting like this, I want to take the points, but they've just been so up and down. And then you mentioned it lately, it's just kind of fallen off, the scoring. If you can't break 60, I really don't want you as a basketball team at all. So I'm off.
I don't blame you. That's tough. Next up, Rio Grande Valley and Tarleton State. We've got Tarleton State 7-point favorites, 146 the total, 147 actually in some spots. This is one where I actually kind of lean to the underdog a little bit with Rio Grande Valley, just because Tarleton State is not a favorite I trust usually. Look, I like this team in terms of their style. They try to slow it down, muck it up, but that's not really something that you want as a 7-point favorite all the time, a team that's going to want to grind it out and muck it up. So, 7-point favorites, I'm not in love with laying that many with Tarleton State. I know Rio Grande Valley's had some ups and downs, and there's no doubt Tarleton State's a better defensive team, but they had no answer for Rio Grande Valley. If you look at the last regular season, I mean, there were a lot of points in that game, and Tarleton State's defense didn't exactly shut it down. So the plus points might be worth a look here with UTRVG. There we go, UTRVG. There we go.
UTRVG. Yeah, Mandalay Bay is where the Aces play. Their little court there. Excellent info, guys.
There we
go.
go.
The ball from the chat. Shout out to the chat. Hit the like button. It's the least you can do. Yeah, I think the points. I lean the points. I just take the over here. Yeah. I think it can get over this, at this number at 146. So I took the over.
All right, and the last game at the WAC tournament at Michelob Ultra Arena tonight, it is Utah Tech, Stephen F. Austin. This will be a late one. This will be, if you're out on the Pacific West Coast there, this will be a nice primetime game, 8:30 Pacific. Stephen F. Austin, 1-point favorites, 149.5 the total in this game. I agree with Stephen F. Austin might be a little short-handed. If you're wondering why there's money coming in on Utah Tech, that's why. They could be without one of their key, I think one of their top two players, if I'm not mistaken here. They've got some good guard play, but one of their front court guys might be missing, and he's a guy that, does a lot for them, points and rebounds. He might be not able to go tonight for the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin. So I think that might be influencing this number. Not to mention Utah Tech did play a little bit better down the stretch. I mean, it's a team that kind of had their rough start early in the season, but got better. And sometimes those teams can be dangerous at conference tournaments when they start to get a little confidence in their system. So I understand, based on the injuries, why Utah Tech's taking the money. I kind of agree with it here. Utah Tech down to 1 now, so they got to win the game. I got +2 down to 1. I'd still go with the Utah Tech side here. So that is concerning that Stephen F. Austin's got some injuries to deal with. The total's been hit up, and it's probably another one where I'd have to lean over as well, given what we're going to see. Stephen F. Austin, can be pretty efficient offense. Utah Tech plays pretty fast tempo-wise as well, so I understand the push up with the total. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I mean, they lost to Utah 113-69. Holy shit. I do think there's points here too. But it's already moved a little bit. I still think it could get over. You talked about those guys being out. Utah, I'm telling you, they're going to have, their fans here. They love just traveling down the road to come to Vegas. So I think there's a little value with them, even though overall I think Stephen F. Austin's a little bit better team. So maybe they do win.
All right, next up here we go to the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAAC. We got 2 first-round games still to go. Boardwalk Hall, Atlantic City, St. Peter's, and Fairfield. Fairfield 2.5-point favorites, 122 the total in this game. It's worth noting here, you got Fairfield here right close to home. It'll be obviously for them. We'll see what influence that has. St. Peter's just they actually did beat Siena in their final conference game. So, is that a sign that maybe this St. Peter's team is ready to take it go on a bit of a run? So you got this little New Jersey rivalry going here with St. Peter's and Fairfield. This is one game I definitely don't have a strong feel on. I'd rather just say pass rather than say I'm involved one way or another. I kind of think Fairfield finds a way, but laying 3 against St. Peter's that showed a little glimmer of life at the end of the season is not something I'm looking to do, especially in a low-paced, low-scoring game, which this one probably will be. But unfortunately, the total is 122. I don't care what the total, how much you might like a lower scoring game. Conference tournaments where there's fouling late if the game is close, there's no way I'm taking under 122. And if you like the under, like I say, I look in the first half. Okay, so you avoid the fouling late in the game. What do you think here, Conor?
Yeah, if you like ultra slow, bad shooting, this is your game, right?
This is your game. Get ready, get the popcorn out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this could still say under, really. And you mentioned St. Peter's off a win, just bad numbers, 0-6, off a straight up win, 0-11, ATS win. I don't want them, even with the couple points. And I don't really want to lay points with Fairfield. We talked about this ad nauseum, kind of through the years, but Bano, just even a few times in Manhattan, we'll get to that game. They've moved as a favorite. It happened on Saturday. It's just the team, as soon as they lay points, they don't get it done, so I don't want to be even on Fairfield either. So off.
All right, Marist and Manhattan. Manhattan I agree with this move. Pick them to -3, 130. Manhattan's a team that's, figured it out late in the season, played a lot better. The Jaspers come into this tournament actually one of the hotter teams in the entire conference. I think they won 5 of their last 6 or 4 of their last 5 anyway, down the stretch. So Manhattan's been playing their best basketball. I think they're a better team than Marist. So seeing it open at a pick'em, and I was this was one of the early bets I placed, and I got minus 120 with Manhattan on the money line in this game, but you can't get that anymore, unfortunately. It's all the way up to minus 155, minus 165, but Manhattan wins this game. If you don't want to lay the price on its own, put it in a parlay of some kind is what I suggest. What do you think here, Conor?
They split the series, but that's right away. If you got this at there, it's just like take Manhattan. I think they win. I can't do it. I'd lean under, but these teams have gone over. Even Marist, the last 3. I don't think this is enough. I needed a few more points to really, really love this under. So I'm off.
There we go. Yeah, Marist did play well, but that was again. I don't know if they've played Manhattan since that. The Manhattan now is a different, better version of Manhattan. So
they went to Manhattan and got blitzed too.
Yeah.
81-58.
Yeah, they did. So I just like the way it's setting up here for Manhattan, playing well, and we'll get the win. By the way, I took a flyer in this conference with Siena to win the conference at 10-1. Look, let's be honest. Iona's almost assuredly going to win this conference. They're that good. I mean, they've dominated. They were incredible down the stretch at Iona, crushing teams left and right. But I thought Siena was a little undervalued because they had some injuries. They had McCollum, one of their key guards, banged up for a large part of the regular season. They're finally healthy again. They're a very good team, I think, when healthy, and maybe a little undervalued now. So I took a shot with Siena there at plus 1,000, 10-1 to win that conference tournament. All right, Colonial Athletic Association Conference Championship game. Wilmington shocking, and I mean shocking, Hofstra last night. That was very, very, we can't be surprised ever, but Hofstra was just crushing teams. And then all of a sudden they go ice cold, can't make a shot late. Wilmington battles back to force overtime, and they lose in overtime. That's what can happen. It just takes 10 minutes of bad basketball, you not playing your best, and your season's over. It's all it takes. And Hofstra found that out the hard way last night in that one. So can Wilmington bottle up that success and strike twice? Lightning in a bottle against another one of the heavyweights in the Colonial, Charleston. We've got Charleston 9.5-point favorites, 141. For me, this is probably a look at the over. And that couldn't have been any easier last night with Wilmington and Hofstra over the total. I said that total was just shockingly low in that game. What it was at 133 when the line closed. It flew over that with Wilmington and Hofstra last night. I think this one does as well. Maybe not fly over, but 140, 141. I think it'll go over that. As far as the side goes, I think Charleston's going to win this game. On paper, they're the better squad, but we said that last night about Hofstra too. And Hofstra's been sent home by this Wilmington team, and you can't underestimate this Wilmington team. This isn't the first year they've done this either in this conference, where they come out of nowhere and they put a run together in the conference tournament. So I wouldn't sell this team short. I think Charleston wins, put them maybe in a money line parlay, but I'm a little bit gun shy right now on laying this many points with Charleston, with the Cougars, even though I think they're the better squad. Conor, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll take the 9.5 with Wilmington. And the one thing that scares me, so the 2-point loss they had at home, and then they get blown out by 30. That's the only thing. We mentioned it yesterday. They were hitting those shots too. Not only was Hofstra got cold, they hit some big threes where they're going to need it here. That's the only one thing that scares me a little bit. I hate when the team goes cold. Like you mentioned, 10 minutes, just 4 or 5 minutes. It's dreadful, and you get blown out. So I'll take the points here, though. I think the defense is pretty good. They've been good on a neutral floor. Third meeting. Yeah, give me the points.
All right, looking for a close game here, and this Wilmington team to be in the hunt maybe for another big upset here and punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament as well. One of those teams will be going to the NCAA tournament. Same with this next game. One of these teams will be in the NCAA tournament. Horizon League championship game, Northern Kentucky and Cleveland State. Northern Kentucky 2-point favorites, 126. I think Northern Kentucky, and there are some players from last year's Northern Kentucky team that are on this year's team as well. They went through the pain and the anguish of losing in the conference tournament championship last year. They lost in the final. This is their chance for redemption. The way they played yesterday, Northern Kentucky, against a pretty solid team, was very impressive yesterday. They were wire to wire, pretty much ahead that entire game, Northern Kentucky yesterday. And I think when you look at this matchup, they've got what it takes to finish the deal. They'll learn from the painful lessons of last year. I just like how this sets up. I went money line, and that's what I always do with these short favorites, minus 130 with the Northern Kentucky on the money line. I think it's their time. I think they move on to the NCAA tournament past Cleveland State. Let's not forget Cleveland State. They shot lights out yesterday. They shot way above their season average. They almost blew it, believe it or not. They were up by 28. They fell asleep, and that lead got down to 8 at one point. So they kind of fell asleep, and they had to extend their starters as a result because of that. And they played the later game last night as well. So I think that's a negative for Cleveland State. I like NKU here to win this game. What do you think, Conor?
It's tough. This was tough. Like, man, if I could get a 3, even 2.5, I kind of am looking the other way. And I like Northern Kentucky. They've won 7-0 against the number the last 7. They've been red hot. Yesterday, I liked them. I wish I was just on a money line. No nuts over here with that. Both games, though, 1-point games. These teams are slow. I have a feeling this is a close one in the end. Northern Kentucky still doesn't shoot it great. You mentioned Cleveland State kind of made everything. Milwaukee couldn't have shot for over 6 minutes. Just dreadful turnovers, too. It was just pathetic. Man, this one was tough for me. But now, if I could get 3, even 2.5, I think this one's a close one. I think Cleveland State.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. It's just, and that's why I took with Northern Kentucky with a lot of these short favorites in these tournaments. I just take the money line. I have no issues paying up the price.
I don't blame you.
The money line here with these small favorites, just in case we get one of these 1-point, 2-point buzzer beater type of things. Look how it paid off for me earlier today with Georgia Tech. I didn't lay 2 with Georgia Tech against Florida State earlier today. I took Georgia Tech money line. And they won by exactly 1 point. And that's the difference between a win and a loss right there. I took the money line instead of -2.
Both teams playing well, too. Even Cleveland State, 7-1. Won its last 7 of 8. So I'm looking at Cleveland State here, though. The more and more.
Definitely. All right. Big Sky semifinals. Let's do these both at once here. Northern Arizona, Montana, Weber State, Montana State. I think Montana, I like Montana. I'd actually lay the points with Montana State. That's how good they're playing right now. I love that Grizzlies team, or the Bobcats, I should say. Montana's the Grizzlies. Montana State Bobcats, they're playing great. Offensively, they're outstanding. I think that game goes over as well with Weber. It's a very low total for a very efficient offensive team like Montana State. So over 129.5, I would lay the 5.5 there, honestly, with Montana State and put Montana State in a money line parlay. I think they will find a way to win that game against Weber State. Not as good of a Weber State team as we've seen in the past. The other game, Northern Arizona, will give them a whole hell of a lot of credit. With what they're doing. Sending Eastern Washington packing. Are you kidding me? Wow, what a performance. And sometimes when you see this, there's no letdown. Some people say, they're going to have a letdown tonight now against Montana. I guarantee you, if Northern Arizona can beat Eastern Washington, who was just destroying this conference this year, they can absolutely hang with Montana and maybe even beat them. And we don't even need Northern Arizona to beat Montana. We're getting 5.5 points here with Northern Arizona in this game. So I like NAU. They've got a little something going. That defense clamped down on a very good team in Eastern Washington. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I think the points are worth taking there with Northern Arizona against Montana. What do you think there? Big Sky semis, Conor.
Yeah, that was a huge win. Eastern Washington, too, just a little scuffle there. That's like the last couple of games, and then just got, caught.
I just figured
shot.
They were disinterested because they had locked up the number 1 seed already and all this. But no, maybe it was a harbinger of other things.
Yeah, one thing Northern Arizona, even in their loss down the stretch, was a 1-point loss, 90-89. Man, Montana's been good. I took them the last, 3 times they've covered the number, but maybe this is a stretch. I'm going to look at that game a little more and stay off. I agree with you. I mean, Montana State to me is the best team. In this one, I'd lay the 6 with them.
All right. Good stuff. How about the Summit League Championship game? Another ticket to the NCAA tournament will be punched between North Dakota State and Oral Roberts. Of course, Oral Bob is used to being in the NCAA tournament. They're overwhelming favorites to be there again. 10.5-point favorites here against North Dakota State. 153.5 the total. Sioux Falls, South Dakota for this championship game. Yeah, this is another classic. Yeah, Oral Roberts, I think, is probably going to be the winner. Probably going to advance, but I'm not laying 10.5. And look at all of a sudden what we're seeing with North Dakota State now. And Conor MAAC was the first one to point this out yesterday on the show. Like all that money on South Dakota State
Shocking.
yesterday
I was
against
like,
North Dakota State. And they were they were down the whole game pretty much, trailing behind North Dakota State for that entire game last night. But here's the difference. South Dakota State's not close to where they've been in recent years this year. Oral Roberts is still, I think, just an excellent team. I think it's going to be a whole hell of a lot more difficult for North Dakota State defensively this time around tonight against Oral Roberts, Max Asmus and crew. But I'm still not laying 10.5 when you've got against a team that's got clearly some magic going right now with North Dakota State. So it's kind of I'm off the side. The totals drop down. The more it drops, the more I'm appealing to the over. But I'm going to let it see. I'm going to hold off, see if it drops a little bit further. What do you think here, Conor?
Yeah, do you think this, they not really scared, but I mean, 5-point win for St. Thomas. They're not covering though. And a lot of their games, I get the under. They've just been a little bit too high. And they're coming down. I got to take the points here with North Dakota State. They lost by 13-8. I'm worried they just might be a little bit cold here, but I got to take the points. Give me the 10.5.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. This is the upstart North Dakota State against the behemoth that is Oral Bob. So that's a fascinating championship game tonight, 9 o'clock, ESPN, one of those networks, ESPN, ESPN2 have that one on. All right, West Coast Conference championship game, Gonzaga and St. Mary's, the old rivals, again, facing off for a WCC tournament title. Gonzaga, 2.5-point favorites, 139 the total. I don't know if this would surprise people that are watching the show right now, but 2 meetings with these 2 teams during the regular season, both went over, believe it or not. Both of these games went over the total. And I think I was on the over in both of those games. And the reason I liked it is because Gonzaga to me can't be a team where you put them as in 130s with their totals. It's just too low for Gonzaga. It really is that simple. And if I actually look at St. Mary's down the stretch, they haven't been an under machine like they were earlier in the season. We've seen a few of their games kind of go over the total. So I'm staying off the side. I think it's a great game. I think both teams want it. Both teams going to want to beat I kind of lean Mary's as the dog because they lost at Gonzaga in the most recent meeting. Of course, the first time they played, Mary's beat them in Moraga in that little gym in overtime. So they split the series. Kind of lean St. Mary's here because they lost the most recent game. But I'm going to look at that over again with these 2 teams. Again, to me, I just can't see how you can put Gonzaga games in the 130s. They're too low. And it seems every time you put Gonzaga in the 130s because they're playing a slow-paced, defensive-minded team, the game still goes over. What do you think here, Conor?
I really don't want to bet this game. Maybe just watch it and bet it live. Gonzaga's rolling. I have a feeling if I take them here, 2.5. This just seems so easy, right? Come on. Like, it's just like Gonzaga, they're going to win.
But it's not easy, though. St. Mary's is a pretty good team, too.
Very good and really good defensively. They're slow. Yeah. And on the flip side, Gonzaga still can't stop anybody. It's going to hurt them in the tournament. Just sorry. It's just a fact. When you don't play defense to stop anyone, you will not win the national championship. So, yeah, I have nothing here. Just seems like Gonzaga, I think, could win. It's just like 2.5. Like, yeah.
No, that's a good team.
I'll be watching.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a good game with because they've got the star obviously is Mahaney. He's an incredible player, great offensive player. Alex Dukas is good though. They got Bowen Johnson. They got Mitchell Saxon. That's a good basketball.
Good 3-point shooting. Yeah, these teams can shoot it.
Yeah, they can. So I definitely think in this game here, like I say, I haven't bet it yet, but I do lean a little to St. Mary's here. I do like the over. I have bet that at 138.5. All right, here we go. Dollar Loan Center. Here we go. Dollar Loan Center, Henderson, Nevada, for the Big West Conference Tournament first round game. CS Northridge, CS Bakersfield. Bakersfield, 1.5-point favorites, 125.5 the total. Neither of these teams are really that good. That's why they're in the first round. But I'll take the team that plays a little bit of defense, and that's Bakersfield. Northridge just doesn't do that half the time. So I will definitely be looking at Bakersfield here. Pick 'em range, -120 money line. I do like that side here. What do you think, Conor?
Yeah, Northridge played a little bit better down the stretch, had a couple wins. But I want the team with the better defense. I know they struggle to score, and that's Bakersfield. And right here, just to win, give me them. I'm on them as well, Bakersfield.
There we go. Yeah, Dollar Loan Center is always on the Vegas Golden Knights games on television too. They got Bill Foley, the owner of the team, sitting on the Zamboni, waving to everybody in the
Yeah, that's
Dollar
where
Loan
the
Center
the
hats.
Silver
Yeah,
Knights play.
yeah, that's right.
Dollar Loan Center.
That's probably where they filmed that. Yeah, exactly. That commercial. All right, I always see that when the Golden Knights television broadcasts are on. All right, Cal Poly and Long Beach State. We got Long Beach State, 9-point favorites, 136 the total in this game. Long Beach clearly should win. Like Cal Poly was a disaster down the stretch. I can't even explain how bad they were down the stretch of the season. 1-13 away from home this year, this Cal Poly Mustangs team. They lost 10 straight games going into this one. Now, they were competitive, actually, the last three. 3-point loss to Irvine, 6-point loss to Cal Davis, 1-point loss to Riverside in overtime. So much more competitive, but, maybe that's enough reason to take all these points, but Long Beach is clearly the superior group. Long Beach destroyed Cal Poly twice this year, 77-58, 70-52. So a 19-point and an 18-point win. I've seen no evidence that Cal Poly can hang with this team. So I haven't laid the points, but I put Long Beach in a couple money line parlays. To me, Long Beach in a money line parlay with Montana State could be a good option, or we'll get to it later, but I do like MAAC in the NEC Championship. I think MAAC and Long Beach might be a good money line option as well. But yeah, I like Long Beach. I'll put them in some money line parlays though, instead of laying the points. What do you think, CMAC?
You know what? Down the stretch, Cal Poly played a little better. Couldn't win, but they covered some numbers, in some close games. Something weird might happen here. And they whipped them. You mentioned both games by about 20 points. Long Beach should win. I can't lay 9 there with them. This could be, watch out. Maybe they're a little asleep at the wheel, early in one of these games, like a first half. Take the points with Poly.
All right, Southland Conference semifinals here, Lake Charles, Louisiana, at the Legacy Center. We got McNeese State and Texas A&M Corpus Christi in one semifinal, New Orleans Northwestern State in the other. I like the over in McNeese State A&M Corpus Christi, 146.5. If you actually look, McNeese State's been over, as our guy Conor likes to say, down the stretch. Every McNeese State game has pretty much gone over the total. A&M Corpus Christi doesn't mind pushing tempo, so I think that game at 146.5 can get over the total. The other game, New Orleans Northwestern State, I kind of lean over there, not as much. I like the total in the other game better. But what I do like in this game is New Orleans. I'm coming back to them again. This New Orleans team just keeps on rolling. They had a couple of key pieces to that team out a few weeks ago. They've got him back, and classic late season situation where a team gets better when they're fully healthy. And we're seeing that now with this New Orleans Privateers group, after a kind of an up and down season, and their record still overall is not good, but you can't argue with 6-1 straight up, 6-1 against the spread for New Orleans in their last 7 games coming into this one. They're red hot right now. I'm not stepping in front of that, especially getting 7.5 points. And they split the season series with Northwestern State this year. So I think we've got a competitive game at worst case scenario for New Orleans. I like them here, +7. Conor, what do you think?
Yeah, New Orleans, they went 6 out of the last 7 of 8. They were hot. And I thought Northwestern kind of just cruise mode. They won. They were covering kind of like everything there for a couple months, and I was on them. They had a loss. I like the over in the McNeese. I think, and I don't know if McNeese can hang. Yesterday I really liked them, and they get the outright win. They maybe could there. In this one there should be points too, but yeah, I'll take the 7 with New Orleans. That should get over. It is at 150 right there. It's kind of a lean for me.
Yeah, that total's a little higher, and I think it could be closer to the number. I think McNeese State has a little more wiggle room with that total. That's why I like that one. But I certainly can make a case for the over in the New Orleans game too. But I like the side more, New Orleans there, plus the points. All right, America East semifinals. New Hampshire, UMass Lowell, Binghamton, Vermont. I mean, this should be the favorites getting the – I fully expect a UMass Lowell, Vermont final. And what a final it would be. These have been the 2 best teams all year in the America East. No question about that. UMass Lowell and Vermont. It's the championship game we all want to see. I think it is the championship game we are going to see. It's just a question of, do you want to lay double digits in a semifinal with these 2 teams? I don't think I do. So I didn't really touch either of these 2 games, side or total. New Hampshire's going to want to play slow, like a snail, slow it down. UMass Lowell wants to play fast, so that's kind of a clash of style, clash of pace. Same with Binghamton, Vermont. Well, actually, that's not the case. Both of them are modest in terms of their tempo, Binghamton and Vermont, but Vermont's very efficient. So when they get over the total in their games, it's not because they play fast. It's because they're just very good shooting and very efficient with it. So I think of the two games, I could kind of make a case for the over in the New Hampshire game, UMass Lowell, believing in UMass Lowell, maybe dictating the terms and the pace, but nothing I love in these two games. And again, I think the favorites win, maybe even win comfortably, but comfortably and laying 12.5 with UMass Lowell, comfortably and laying 15.5 with Vermont are two different things entirely. That's a lot of points. So I'm off it. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, I want nothing to do here. And I'm not wild to just taking the dog. Like Vermont just owns Binghamton for the most part. That's been their whipping boy. They just whip them. I would look at them first half. Maybe Vermont here, just come out, get a big lead, or look at their team total for a full game.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we wrap it up with the Northeast Conference Championship game. Merrimack and Fairleigh Dickinson. Merrimack 4-point favorites, 138.5 the total in this game. I like Merrimack to win. I've got them in a couple parlays. If you're going to take them now, you've either got to lay minus 180 on its own or minus 4. But the thing with Merrimack is they went through a little funk about a month and a half ago. Defense started to crumble a little bit. That's actually when they started. Remember, we talked Merrimack, a great under team, but then they started to go over because that defense started to fall apart. But that defense, the last game, what did they give up? 50. I mean, that was stifling. They were at the defensive end of the basketball court. And to me, this is just like what I said about Northern Kentucky in the Horizon League. It's just the better defensive team, the much better defensive team. And I think that's going to end up being the difference here in this game. So, yeah, I like Merrimack to win. You can either lay – I think they actually might cover the 4 as well. I think this is where rubber meets the road for Fairleigh Dickinson. They've had a nice little run to get here. Merrimack is surging at the right time, fully healthy, defense back on track. I think they win. I think they probably cover the 4 as well, but I'm playing a little more cautiously and just putting Merrimack in a couple money line parlays tonight. Connor, what do you think here? Northeast Conference Tournament Championship.
I mean, how much too? Fairleigh Dickinson, they beating them twice. I mean, they lose, they're still in the tournament because Merrimack is not in when they win this year. So, yeah, third meeting, I think you just got to have to lay the 4. They've been getting it done, though, a little bit as a favor with Merrimack. I never really want to lay points with them. They've covered some numbers. You mentioned the under. Merrimack's gone over. Is this number, though, now a little bit too high? I thought so a little bit, High
for Merrimack, kind of somewhat low for FDU, depending on what you look at it, the way you look at it.
But Merrimack's been scoring, and they split. One went over and one went under, I believe. Yeah, 71-63. That barely stayed under by a point. And then the other one, 78-71, went over the 133.5. So lean under, but I don't know if I get there.
All right, there we go. There we go. That's the whole card right there. There's no Q&A today. No, nothing. We got through the whole card for you right there for this Tuesday. Now we will, obviously, tomorrow, it'll be a different story. Tomorrow on this Wednesday slate, we will have to pick and choose at the games in our first segment. We can't go through the whole card, so we'll bring back, of course, Q&A and the old games we haven't talked about on the show so far that we like segment. We'll have to do it tomorrow because it's a much bigger card. And obviously Thursday and Friday as well, as the number of games goes up exponentially as we got the ACC, SEC, Pac-12, Big 12, Mountain West conference tournaments starting tomorrow. So looking forward to all of those joining the fray. 184 live viewers. We appreciate all of you joining the fray here in the chat for this show. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. I will be right back with best bets to wrap things up right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Southtown 101, when you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke. Southtown 101, manscaped.com, promo code PubSports, 20% off and free shipping using the promo code PubSports. Yeah, and if anyone came in late and you joined us after we talked about a game already, then just go back and rewatch. We hit every single game, so it's here on the show today. So if you missed anything early, go back and watch. You'll find the game you're looking for. All right, hopefully we find the best bet winners we're looking for here tonight for this Tuesday. Connor, what do you think for best bet here?
It's going to go back totals. We'll get on that tomorrow. I'm going back North Dakota State. Give me the plus 10.5. This team's winners are, 6 of 7. I'll take it against Oral Roberts, who probably win, but I'll take the points. And Bakersfield, -1. You go money line, I think it's -120. They just lost to Northridge, and I think they're just better. So give me Bakersfield.
There you go. And that's a side I co-sign Bakersfield there in that game. And Connor liking North Dakota State as well, plus 10.5 against Oral Bob for best bet. My best bet, it's the Norse. We the Norse. Not we the North like the Raptors say. We the Norse. Northern Kentucky money line, -1. I think they're -130 or 40 now, but just take the money line. Be safe. I wouldn't want to lay more than that. Yeah, there's still some -140s in a couple spots. Northern Kentucky against Cleveland State. I think they get the job done. They lost in the Horizon League Championship game last year. This has the makings and the feel of Furman, the Paladins last night. Furman lost in the championship game last year. What did they do? They learned the lessons. They went through the pain, and they got their redemption last night, winning the championship game against Chattanooga. I think we see it repeat for Northern Kentucky tonight. After losing in the Horizon League Championship game last year, they get it done tonight. Northern Kentucky money line for me against Cleveland State for my best bet for this Tuesday card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the College Basketball Net Profit Show. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. We're back tomorrow. It's going to be a big show tomorrow because we've got all the major conference tournaments getting underway tomorrow. So it'll be a big loaded show tomorrow on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will see you again on Wednesday for another edition of the College Basketball Net Profit Show right here on Pub Sports Radio.
Peace.
Palooza 2 on the horizon. We're going to have live shows popping off in the Southtown 101. We're going to have a poker tournament, a par 3 golf tournament, UFC San Antonio on the Saturday night. A lot of excitement. Palooza 2!